I can't think of a more competitive environment, particularly given the
Hmm.
last few years and the advances with AI and technology. So from that perspective, it doesn't sound like you even thought about that, which is the way most things happen in the world today. And you're kind of drawn into it first as a hobby and then as a business. But I guess more broadly, competitively, what do you see on the horizon that's going to give you guys either an opportunity to set yourselves apart, or do you see some dark clouds?
Yeah, no, so it depends on the future you envision, right? Are you looking at dark clouds or are you looking at something bright? That's the way I look at it. For me, you talk about moat, right? So it used to be, we'll say 4 or 5 years ago, pre-AI, or pre-AI software development, what they're doing now,
Mm-hmm.
where the software you built was your moat because there was all this intellectual property, all this time, energy that you spent building, for me at least, a piece of software.
Investment.
Nowadays, that piece of software can, for the most part, be replicated in a week or two. It's not so much the software. We actually just had one of our customers that left us. We have customers come and leave all the time, of course, but this one caught our eye because the reason they left is because they used AI to create their own time tracking scheduling system for their company, and they don't have to pay us anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So that really starts to drive the conversation that we know that software is not our moat anymore. There is no intellectual property there anymore, or at least value. So, but what is the moat? So, I mean, we're actually knee deep in looking into this right now. But, things like system of record are really big for us right now. We are a system of record just because of the nature of our product, but continuing to build that out and continuing to bring more and more data into that system of record, that's a big one. For other companies, might be the community that you have, like the following. If you have social products, for instance, their moat is their people, their followers. So if you have a product like that, if you have proprietary data, that's another moat that you control because you control that. The way
Mm-hmm.
I try to look at moats, for us, it's probably two or three things. But the best way that I could describe it to any entrepreneur is that you want to have something that it's an intellectual property or intellectual data that you own that the outside world can't replicate, or AI can't replicate. Exactly what that is for your particular venture that you're trying to start up, you have to really figure that out on your own. But you got to think about what, if you're looking at software, what can't AI replicate? Because it can replicate software day and night nowadays, and it's going to get even better over the next few years. So the moat is what you control. And if you don't have a moat, you should start to think about, okay, well, I don't have one, but what can I glean from my audience, from my customers, and create a moat out of? Is it knowledge? Is it just data on their day-to-day activities? Is it a community? It's really up to the entrepreneur to figure that out. But it is important nowadays to really think that way, because you can't be replicated, but what you built can be replicated so easily that you need to think about the things that you own and you keep inside and that nobody else has access to. And if you don't have it, build it.
Yeah, you hit it on the head. In fact, last night, I own a transportation company, have for 30 years, and among many things, way back in the day, I helped the team that I had hired. It was a national firm, but the software that we used to dispatch, I went from paper to software, and so got to develop everything in between. I've been now with them for 25 years, but they've sold to private equity, and the product is not nearly as good. And so just last night, I was talking with parts of my team about we may have to just build it. What they sell us for $3,000, $4,000 a month, I use 1/5 of it. Man, I don't know, I use 5% of it, right? Maybe 3% of what it actually does. And I said with AI today, I probably could build out everything that I need on my own and get it to do exactly what I want to do,
Mm-hmm.
because I can't get them anytime I want anything done. I'm beholden to them and their timeframes. And so the value that their community, their sales side, their development side, their people side bring makes me think I need to go do something else because I'm waiting days and weeks and months to get anything out of them that legitimately I could probably build in the time I'm waiting for them. And so I think, to add to what you said, the moat for many people in this same scenario, at some point, money is going to be the overriding factor, but service also. If these guys provided me service that I could click my fingers and they just gave me what I wanted in the time frame I can deliver it to myself, I wouldn't be having this conversation because I got bigger fish to fry, and $3,000 a month's not enough to really worry about at this point. But I'm not getting what I want,
Yes.
and I have to live inside of their ecosphere. I don't want to do that. I want to live inside the one that I need, and so it makes me look. So I see where they're coming from. I mean, actually, just had that conversation last night. So I think that's real. I think that you said something. They can't replicate you. They can't replicate
Correct.
me, right? And so all the AI in the world can make all of the websites it wants to. It can develop all of the software it wants to. But at the end of the day, your experience is not replicable in a one-on-one or a one-on community environment. And I think that there is a big part left to be played yet in service.
100% agreed. And kind of like you made me think about a few other things. It's, as we're talking about, us, like we can't be replicated. Every single thing in the world that we've ever created starts with an idea, right, in your head. And, even like where we're at right now, we're looking to build our entire operation so streamlined, product-wise particularly, where ideas become the bottleneck, to where we can build software at light speed. We can get it out to our customers at light speed, but the bottleneck is our brains. How fast can we come up with the best absolute value-driven ideas for our customers? But then you kind of back up. Well, how do you do that? Well, that is really probably several things. I mean, relationships. You need to know people to gain access to information. Knowing your customers, like literally talking to them, meeting with them, sitting with them through their pain points, knowing the competition that's out there. I mean, these are all basic business stuff, but kind of got to come back to basics sometimes.
Yep.
And then, knowing the market, what is the market? What's emerging? What's coming next? And if one as an entrepreneur can just get their head just around that and understand the core problems and come up with the ideas, that's a moat that nobody can ever come across.
Right.
No AI is ever, to my knowledge, 10 years from now, maybe it's different, but right now it's still like, if you can come up with the best ideas, you will win. But you have to be able to execute on them. Of course, you have to execute.
Right. Execution obviously is a key. And you're dealing with, I mean, again, to entrepreneurs on the outside looking in, or what's there's 32, 33 million entrepreneurs in the United States, but 30 odd million of them are solopreneurs. So they have no employees. And so for you guys that are looking to grow, and these are the people I deal with a lot, the ones that, you got to go out and get employees. If you hope to scale, you got to have employees. You got to get multiple teams, right? And there's making that jump. But when you start adding employees, the complexity to your business outside of operations just goes off the charts as far as I'm concerned, as opposed to, I mean, I've had, thousands of employees. I've always been jealous of the solopreneur, the guy who just has to worry about himself, right? I just couldn't figure out how to make enough money by myself, like you can with an employee. So when you're talking about payroll, labor, the accountability time frame, employee management, kind of where all the emotions can run high and things can go crazy, things can get cheated, money can be stolen. You have the governments that are always on top of you, and you got to keep up with all of that. You got record retention, like you said, all of those things. These are very, very difficult things to manage for the average person. And I've always said, and I've not found it yet. I don't know your product intimately, so maybe that's the answer there. But someone who brought all of those pieces together, including HR, and simplified it. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs, business owners with employees would love to see. We keep thinking with AI, someone's going to come up with a product so good that it's going to take 90% of that off of my plate. 90% of what is the most difficult part of business, as far as I'm concerned, which is having employees and the management and the bureaucracy and all of the things that go into having employees. Are we anywhere near soup to nuts, start to finish, management of bringing employees in, training employees, time frame, all the way through to he needs to be fired, he quit, paperwork, all of those things. Are we anywhere near getting to a point where this is largely automated for us?
If we look at the enterprise 1,000+ employees, they will typically have, they call them hire to fire suites, and they cover a lot of the bases, but it's not a complete automated system, right? I mean, they're approaching it, but they've also been approaching it for the last 10 years. So
Right.
I can't say that they're any closer, but I would say that at some point we will end up with, as we continue to build software, whether it's us or somebody else, you will end up near that. But I don't think you'll ever end up with a system that encompasses everything, simply because change, right? Things change like so rapidly, whether it's different processes in your company, the way that regulations on hiring or firing or just employment, things change so much that I don't see where one system, a CAM system at least, could ever encapsulate everything. I could be wrong. But our goal is to take the core pieces that, and this should be, a good advice for any entrepreneur. Maybe you're not in our business, but figure this out for your customers or your, ICP, is figure out the core things that they need and build those really good. Yes, you're going to have gaps, you're going to have missing pieces, but if you can take 5 out of the 6 pain points out of a process, you've got a product. You've got something somebody will buy. If you could take 3 out of 6, somebody will buy it. But it's really, relieving that pain. As far as like a full system, I haven't seen one. And I go to all the big shows, and there's still huge gaps. I talk to customers. I talk to small customers, big customers. They all have the same basic complaints they had 10 years ago.
Yeah, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs miss opportunities because they're always chasing these flashy ideas. To your point, find pain points for customers and fix them. And I sign off my podcast with opportunities are everywhere. You got to go get them, because I hate the world that says do what you love and make sure you're, spend a day doing what you love and you'll never work a day in your life and all of that. I say, yeah, but if you want success, if you want to try out, make something of yourself, I've never made $1. I've done almost $500 million in revenue. Not a single one of those dollars did I ever make, Dean, doing something that I love. Right now, I'm passionate about my work because I want to provide for my family and my wife and all of those things, and my employees, and some have worked for me now for 25, 30 years. But again, I'm passionate about, I take my money that I've earned from the things that I can sell at a profit, and I go do the things that I'm truly passionate about. And so I'm not one of these guys that says do what you love. And a lot of entrepreneurs chase these flashy ideas rather than trying to answer, like you said, find some pain points that customers have. And I think too many founders overlook that kind of boring but necessary business, not unlike what you're doing.